Hello, and welcome to my channel, In Search of Wonder. My name is Anne, and these are my weekly wonderings and wanderings. It is Saturday evening and the end of a very long and busy day. I got a lot done, and I am tired and ready to go to bed, and I will in a minute. But first, I wanted to sit here by the tree and do a little bit of reading and relaxing before I head to bed. I am finishing up This Promised Land by Kathy Golke, and hopefully by tomorrow I will be able to share my final thoughts on that. I think it's going to be my favorite book of November, and it is November 29th as I am starting this vlog. So it's going to be one of the last things that I finish in November. So yeah, I'm like 80% or more of the way through. So we'll finish that up soon and have a full update. After that, I think I probably will just launch into my December reads. I'm still working on Shirley, although I didn't read it much this past week at all because I was really focused on finishing up Northanger Abbey and then A Love Restored. And then I really wanted to read This Promised Land when we were going to get our Christmas tree. So I didn't really spend any time reading Shirley, but I'm going to pick that back up again this week, and I'm getting close to the end of that one. Other than that, I probably will pick up some Christmas reads and my other December TBR books. I can't even think right now what all of them are, but I think there's a lot of Christmas reading involved there, so definitely going to be some of that. So that's what I'm going to be doing this week. Who knows what exactly? We'll all find out together. So that's all I got for now, and I will chat with you later. Sunday evening, and I just wanted to update quickly on my reading of This Promised Land by Kathy Golke. I stayed up late last night to finish it. I wanted to finish the story. I wanted to see how everything turned out for the family in the story, and it was so good. Definitely my favorite book that I read in November, and definitely one of my favorites for the whole year. It was really good. So let's see if I can organize my thoughts about what I liked about it. So first of all, if you are looking for a Christmas story that has real depth to it and isn't just a Christmas story, like if you don't want a shallow Hallmark style, cozy, sappy sort of read, or maybe you have a lot of those, but you want something to flesh out your December TBR a little bit. I know you probably already got your TBR lined up, but if you are looking for something with a little more meat to it, but still has some of those Christmassy elements in it, definitely read This Promised Land. I mean, this is the perfect time of year to read it. However, it doesn't have to be read at Christmas time. It's not a Christmas story. The story begins like in the spring, and it spans the better part of a year, and it ends in like the next January. And then there's an epilogue with the following Thanksgiving. It's not just a Christmas story, but at the same time, it has some of those elements that you love to see in a Christmas story, like the feel good parts of it, the community coming together and helping a family in need, and restoration and of relationships and restoration of things that were lost, etc. That sort of thing. It has those themes in it. So it's really good for this time of year, but it's a lot deeper than that. And it has more meat to it. So if you're looking for something like that, highly recommend. Or if you didn't know you were looking for something like that, but it sounds good, definitely check it out. Really good story. And this is a great time of year to read it. But you can read it any time in the year that you want. I also really loved in this story, there was a strong theme of the parable of the prodigal son. And it's not like a retelling of that. It's just drawing from the themes of that story. Actually, before she wrote this book, Kathy Golke, the author, did a lot of studying and reading commentaries, etc., on the prodigal son before she wrote this book and in the writing of this book. And it really shows. And it's just really, I just love how she worked out those themes in the story. And here's the thing. Normally, I don't like it when a book feel like it spends too much time on the thematic elements, like kind of hammering them home. It can feel preachy or didactic. It doesn't feel like that to me. I think that she just did it very deftly, that it's strong, it's there, and you can't, like, that's what the book is about. Like, it's about the prodigal son, and it's about, the characters are at different times in the story. There are different characters in the prodigal son, and they're learning from that. The book is exploring all of those ideas in that parable, and it's inescapable. But I didn't feel like it came across as preachy or didactic in the way that Kathy Golke chose to tell it. It comes across just as within the framework of the story. The characters were just so, they were so well nuanced. They were not cookie cutter characters. They were not unidimensional. They were multidimensional. They had positive and negative and good and bad mixed in, and very realistic. You feel like them, you could meet them down the block or in your neighborhood, you could know people like that. And that was really well done. And it is a huge cast of characters, for sure. There are a lot of characters in this story. And even though we don't do a deep dive into any of their hearts and emotions and feelings, except for really our main character, our main protagonist, you still feel like you get to know all of them, and you're rooting for them, and even the ones who have the harsher edges to them, you really want them to be successful, to grow, and to learn. You're rooting for them, and because there's hope for them. They're not completely villainous or lost. There's hope in there. There's a spark of humanity. And I loved that it was multi-generational also. So actually, our main protagonist is the main point of view, and she is, as I already mentioned, a 65 years old, a slightly older woman, kind of a grandmother's age, although she's not a grandmother. And then you also have two other points of view that get thrown in there into the story as well. And one is a younger woman, probably in her 30s, I'm guessing, or around there, maybe 20s, 30s. And then you have a young girl who's 9 or 10. And you occasionally get their perspective as well and see the story through their eyes and what's developing. So you get this multi-generational perspective, which was really cool also. And the true villain in the story, it's kind of cool, except for the prologue in the beginning. He's always off page, but he affects everybody's life. His existence created the whole story that happens in the first place, the plot. So that's kind of interesting how she did that. By the time the story actually gets going, he's not present anymore, but his effect is definitely there, and he's still a character in the story, even though he's not ever present in it, actually, physically. There is a side thread of a bit of a love story, but it's not the main theme of the song, of the book. I would say it's probably classified as like women's fiction, probably, but there is a thread of romance in it. But it was sweet and it was well done, and it wasn't really focused on as part of the story, but it was definitely a part of it, and it just added a nice, like icing on the cake sort of thing. What else did I want to say about this book? I really loved it, and I have almost nothing negative to say about it. It pulled me in, it sucked me in. The writing was beautiful, and I love the characters. I enjoyed every moment of the story. I read large portions of it with a lump in my throat and tears in my eyes. I read other parts with a sense of what is going to happen, or, are they going to survive this? Like, what is the resolution? I know there's going to be a positive resolution here. I know it's going to end well, but how is that going to happen? Like, so there was, there's a tiny element of like a mystery and or suspense, but that creates kind of the tension in the story. But it's really, it's just like a women's fiction, kind of exploring this family drama and the healing that the characters all go through. So it was really good, and I thoroughly 100% enjoyed it, if you can't tell. So I definitely recommend this one, and I think now is a great time of year to read it if you are interested. I borrowed it from my library through Hoopla, so if that's an option for you, you can look into that. Add it to your TBR because it's that good, and I think that you will love it. So that is my update for today. I also picked up, because I was in the mood for like just a sappy Christmas read, so I picked up, and also because I want to use up my Kindle Unlimited before it expires at the end of the month, towards the end of the month. So I picked up A Merry Christmas by Elizabeth Johns, which is a Regency Christmas romance. It's the first book in a series. I don't know if they're all going to be Christmas romances or the first one is just Christmas. So it's set at Christmas time, and it's these two families, and they're merchant families, not landed gentry. So that is a little bit interesting. Normally these Regency books like are taking place with nobility, whatever, or landed gentry. These are actually merchant families, or cits as they call them back in the day. And it's really beautiful. Like, the writing is really good. Like, it's definitely a notch higher than your average formulaic romance novel. The writing is really top notch. So I am enjoying that, and so far very clean. So, but I'm only like 35% of the way through. But it's not a very long book, so I don't think it will take me long to finish that. I decided that I want to read my Christmas short stories in the evenings whenever I have a chance sitting by the fire. So I might do one of those this evening, as well as my Jane Austen Christmas. That seems to be like the perfect atmospheric sort of read. So I'll be dipping into those over the next few weeks of the Christmas season when I have a chance. Once I'm finished with the Merry Christmas, I'm going to pick up, well, I actually kind of already started the Patty Callahan book, Once Upon a Wardrobe. Yeah, that one seemed to be the one of 3 Frosty books that I had picked for Chantel's Read Your Shelf Challenge. That was the one that was the most popular. So I picked that up, and I read like the first chapter, and I will be reading more of that this week. So those are my current plans as the week progresses. So we'll see how I do with that. All right, that is it, and I will see you next time.
So I am, well, first of all, it's Thursday evening, and I am about to go watch my boys play basketball. They're the warm-ups right now. This is their very first game of the season, and it's at a tournament, so we will see how that goes. I'm looking forward to that, but I did finish reading A Merry Christmas by Elizabeth Johns, and it was a pleasant surprise. I don't want to talk too much about it because I just filmed a video specifically about that, plus some other Regency Christmas novellas for Vlogmas, so I don't want to say too much more. But I will say that I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasant surprise. Like, sometimes when you pick up a book and you're not sure, like, you just randomly stumble across it. I think I may have read something by that author before. Like, her name is familiar, but I don't specifically remember reading anything by her. So you stumble across these books and you don't know anything about them, and nobody recommends them. You're just like, that looks good. Let me give it a try. You never know what's going to happen. I was very pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed it. Said a lot about it in my other videos, so I don't want to belabor that point. But that one is an excellent recommendation for this time of year. Definitely, if you like Regency romances, I think that you will like it. It is very clean. So that was, very clean. No complaints on that score at all. I am still reading Shirley. I am back to my, usual chapter day. I'm about 80% of the way through that. I have not been able to pick up A Tale of Two Cities yet. I'm waiting to do that until I finish this. I am just now starting Once Upon a Wardrobe, and this is the book that I'm going to be focusing on now that I've finished the Christmas novella. So I'm going to read this, but I also am going to be picking up pretty soon here My Merry Mistake. I'm buddy reading that with Jeanette. That is also on Kindle Unlimited. So that's what I've got going on now. It's not a very big update here to share with you, but yeah, that's what I'm reading, what I have read, and we'll see how much of this I get done. As you can see, it is dark out, so I probably won't be able to read much of this. I'm going to read it once I'm inside. I'll have a few minutes to read a little bit of it. I maybe get another chapter or so, but that means on my way home, I'm going to want something on my Kindle. So I probably will pick up something from the library to read digitally, probably another Christmas book. So we'll see. Maybe The Christmas Book Flood by Rosanna M. White, or maybe A Seaview Christmas by Julie Klassen. One of those I'm probably going to pick up to read on my way home when it's dark and I need to read from my screen, so rather than from an actual book. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I will film one more update before I close out this really pretty short for me weekly vlog. That's good though, because there's a lot of stuff going on there at Vlogmas. I know it's hard to keep on top of everybody's videos, so it's good to have a shorter one. Anyway, that's it for now. I will check in with you one more time. It is actually Saturday morning. So yesterday I had a 2-hour delay because as you might be able to see behind me, we got a little snow. Right now it's just a dusting, but it was, I don't know, it was about an inch here, and it fell at such a time that it made it very difficult around here. People laugh at us in Northern Virginia for our approach to snow, but the problem is we get it so rarely, we don't have the infrastructure to deal with it. So, I mean, we get it like maybe once a winter or twice a winter. Sometimes we get really big storms. It can happen, but it's not a regular thing. So we don't have the infrastructure to deal with plowing all the roads, and people who live here don't invest in winter tires or chains on their tires even, or anything like that, because there's no point. We don't have to drive in snow all winter long. So and there are plenty of winters that pass without a single snowdrop. So yeah, we don't have the infrastructure to deal with it, but we do get it on occasion. So when it happens, it shuts everything down, even if it's an inch of snow, particularly if that inch of snow falls at rush hour in the morning because also people have to keep in mind we have a densely populated area here, like incredibly densely populated. The Fairfax County School District, I think, is one of the largest school bus systems in the world. And so that also has to be taken into consideration. All that to say, for an inch of snow, we got a 2-hour delay yesterday. And I thought, oh, I'll have time to wrap up my video and everything. No, that did not happen. So here I am the next day, just wrapping this up, showing you a little bit of our snow. And just giving my final reading update, which is I started The Christmas Book Flood by Rosanna M. White, and I'm about 5 chapters in or so, really loving that, loving the Iceland setting, loving this different perspective on World War II that's in this book, and the book publishing industry, love all of that. I'm also knee-deep in Once Upon a Wardrobe by Patty Callahan and enjoying that one as well. I will have more thoughts about that one in my next weekly reading vlog because I'm sure I'll be finishing it up over the next couple of days. I'll have more thoughts about that. I am definitely enjoying it. It's not, I don't know. It's really hard to describe what genre to fit that book in. It's almost like a fictional literary analysis, if you will, about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's kind of how I see it in a way. But it is very interesting and it's engaging and I'm enjoying it. And about a third or so of the way through it. Maybe close to a half. I'm getting close to the end of Shirley. I'm about 80% of the way through and really getting to, the climax of the story here as I'm going through it. And looking forward to getting to the end and getting everything wrapped up and finding out how all of the different story threads resolve themselves, because there are quite a few tangled up things going on right now in this story. So that is what I am currently in the middle of. I am today going to pick up My Merry Mistake, and I'm buddy reading that with Jeanette at Jane Reads, and probably won't take me very long to read it. I'm enjoying all of this Christmas reading and fun reading as we wrap up the year in December. Having a great time with all of that. So I hope that you are also enjoying your reading. Let me know if you're doing any Christmas reading in the comments or otherwise what you might be reading. And let me know if you've had any snow yet this season. I'm sure that will vary widely depending on your location. So, but I'm curious to hear. And also, what does your district do when it snows? Does life carry on like usual? Are you all just prepared to drive in the snow and you have all of the equipment and it's just a way of life? Or do you never get snow and it's exciting when it happens? And does it shut everything down? Let me know, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.